Hello, I'm Austin Heyman. Welcome to Seniors Today, a monthly program produced by the Commission on Aging and devoted entirely to issues and interests of Montgomery County seniors. This month we learn about an employment expo for those over 50, and we meet two extraordinary volunteers. But first, Montgomery County is certainly known as a generally affluent community. However, it may surprise some viewers to know that there is poverty in our midst. In fact, in a report from the U.S. Census Bureau, the number of persons below poverty level in the county from 2008 to 2012 was 6.5%. With nearly 1 million residents, that comes to 65,000 people. Fortunately, there's an agency that focuses on responding to the needs of those less fortunate. And joining me to tell us more is Sharon Strauss, the Executive Director with the Community Action Agency. Well, welcome to Seniors Today.
Thank you.
Well, Sharon, it is true that most of us think of Montgomery County as affluent, and it's somewhat startling to think of 65,000 people in poverty. What are some of the challenges of those in poverty in Montgomery County?
Well, Austin, as you said, Montgomery County's needs have changed, and there's been a trend all over the country where poverty has moved from the inner cities to the suburbs, and so that's also the situation here in Montgomery County. So we have great affluence, but we also have many people who are really struggling to make it with limited incomes in an area where the costs are quite high, particularly for housing and basic needs.
But we have this Community Action Agency, which you run. What's its role?
Well, the Community Action Agency is the federally designated anti-poverty organization established during the War on Poverty.
Wow.
It has the Head Start grant, so with MCPS administers the Head Start program, and also has a number of contracts for services with nonprofits that the county funds to support services for people in need, and then direct services too at the Test Center and our VITA, our Free Tax Assistance Partnership.
I don't think everybody knows what the Test Center is. So.
Oh, okay. The Test Center, it stands for the Tacoma East Silver Spring Center, and it was established decades ago as the first kind of storefront a place for folks to get help in their communities. So instead of going to a government building, the Test Center was established in the Tacoma Park area where there were large numbers of immigrants coming and people who might not know about the usual service delivery system. So people can walk in and they meet with staff who speak different languages, and they can find out about the services that are delivered. And because we're part of Health and Human Services, they'll be connected either to a public resource or to one of our local nonprofit partners that we work with.
You also have the Voluntary Income Tax Assistance Program. What does that mean?
Well, every year we serve about 2,500 families with free tax help because the tax refund for low-income folks is the largest source of income they'll have in any one payment all year long.
Really? Wow.
So so people aren't spending hundreds of dollars on their tax return. They come and volunteers work with them. We have one staff person, but we've had over 5,000 hours of volunteer help a year. And we work with the City of Rockville, the City of Gaithersburg, Family Services, and we have free tax help during the tax season, but also starting again in the summer to help people all year long with their taxes.
If people want to get more information about the Community Action Agency and its board, you have a phone number that people can call?
Sure. People can call our main number at 240-777-1697.
And you have a website with more information?
Yes, it's the county government website,
Okay.
and you can just type in Community Action and Community Action Board, and that's also a volunteer-supported board that advises the county about issues of poverty.
Now, you mentioned partners.
Mm-hmm.
Who are some of your partners, and what do they do?
Well, so I mentioned the county has contracts with agencies who depend, have a lot of private donations, volunteer help, but also some local funding to support their services. So, for example, MANA is the county's largest food bank, and our agency administers that contract to make sure the services are delivered, and of course that they get paid for a little bit of the work that they do.
There must be a big demand now for the, are they able to meet the demand?
I would say that many folks are relying on multiple sources of help to meet their food needs. So you might have a family where the child gets help at schools with the free and reduced meals or breakfast. Someone who is picking up groceries from MANA, people that come to faith-based food pantries. So, and of course, neighbors helping each other.
Is Meals on Wheels part of this?
Meals on Wheels operates their contract is, I believe, with Aging and Disabilities, but they are part of the food delivery system.
Right.
And I know that our department's director has been meeting with the different food providers to try to coordinate services too.
I think you also mentioned, perhaps when we were talking before, about caregiving. How does the agency work with in that area?
Well, the caregivers they're supported in the Department of Health and Human Services through Aging and Disability Services. We do know that there are more needs. I believe there's over 2,000 caregivers that have been identified in Montgomery County, and many of them come in actually for support. So they are among our low-wage workers, and trying to provide them with assistance. So they're part of the service delivery system, but they're also some of the folks who are in low-wage jobs that need our help.
So there's a whole range of partners. I think another one is Impact Silver Spring is another partner.
Right. And one of the things I mentioned is that Tess is right in the neighborhood there in the Long Branch community. So some of the services that are developed really together, the door knocking campaigns, working with community members to help each other out. The Tess Center is a hub for some of that service delivery and has been for many years.
Well, a lot of wonderful things that you're doing. We have more needs than apparently a lot of people realize. So thank you very much for coming in today to inform us about the board. When we come back, we'll learn about an upcoming job expo just for those over 50. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Can you tell?
Can you tell?
Does it look like I'm fighting a disease?
Fighting.
Fighting.
Fighting for my life?
Like my life expectancy is shorter than yours?
There's no outward sign.
But we're battling every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Worrying, testing.
Treating.
Fighting.
Fighting diabetes.
Diabetes has been called a silent epidemic. It's time to call it out for what it is. This is Brett Michaels. Join us. Choose to share, act, learn, and give. Help us stop diabetes.
Did you know there are more than 10,000 county government phone numbers? But there's only one number you need to remember for non-emergency calls, 311. MC311 is Montgomery County government's online telephone information system. Need information? Have a problem or complaint? Trying to locate a county government facility? Call 311. The call center is open Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. The website is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
If it wasn't for his doctor, he wouldn't be here.
If it weren't for Montgomery County Fire and Rescue, he wouldn't be here.
If it wasn't for the phone call, we wouldn't have been there.
If I didn't call, I don't know where we would be.
Montgomery County emergency responders are there when you need help at no cost to you. In an emergency, don't ever hesitate to call 911. If you live in Montgomery County, you will never get a bill or pay a dime.
So if you have an emergency, call us. We're there for you.
Welcome back to Seniors Today. The 50 Plus Employment Expo will be held May 12th at the Marriott North Bethesda Conference Center. And joining me to talk about the expo is Mickey Gordon, the Assistant CEO of the Jewish Council for the Aging. Well, welcome back, Mickey.
Thank you for having me.
Another big year, another big event.
It's always so fabulous.
So it's May 12th.
May 12th from
And
10 to 3.
What's going to go on?
Well, last year we had 3,500 seniors
Wow.
attend looking for jobs.
Wow.
So we're hoping to have 50 employers, about 35 different community resources. We have 7 different seminars, which will run twice during the day. An internet cafe.
Seminars, like what kind?
Teaching people how to tweak their resumes. And we have a resume reviewing room.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be something on LinkedIn. A lot of social networking is how people get jobs today. AARP is doing one on Life Reimagined.
Oh, wow.
And also we will having an entrepreneurial panel from Rockville Economic Development.
You know how to start your own business?
A lot of people, a fax, a phone, and a
Yeah.
computer, and
Right.
you're a consultant.
Right.
And a lot of people are doing that.
Uh-huh.
And our keynote speaker is Bob Levy,
Oh, yeah.
the journalist formerly of the Washington Post.
Right. Oh, he's a lot of fun.
Yes. And I know at the event also, County Exec Leggett will be giving out the award for best practices for employers in the county who have hired seniors.
This will be the first time for that.
First time, yes.
That's great. That's a lot of exciting things going on. And then there are a lot of nonprofits that have information also.
Yes, we have also a whole section of just community resources. I mean, Montgomery County is so rich in resources, and a lot of people aren't even aware of what's available to them. We're also still looking, there is no charge to employers or volunteers, not volunteers, but participants to attend, and we're still looking for volunteers to assist that day. We always have a core of, sometimes almost 80 volunteers helping.
It's a huge
It
undertaking, and you said 3,500 people.
It was amazing. And our outcomes have shown that
it makes a
hundreds
difference.
of people, I can't say that day they got a job, but as a result of all of the different information that they received, the people they met, we have an internet cafe to help people apply online as well as do research for jobs. Many times you can't walk up to someone now and just hand them a resume. They'll say, no, go online and apply. So we have people there that can assist with that.
And do I understand the employers are, in order to be participants, have to have a certain number of
Yes,
jobs?
they cannot just come to advertise their company and hand out things. They need to have opportunities and be hiring. I say a minimum of 5 openings. We hope more, depending on the nonprofit or the skill set that they're looking for. I mean, many times that, we're very fortunate they have a lot of opportunities for people.
Yeah, I know in previous years there's a lot of big name companies like Verizon and...
Yes, we do. A lot of the hospitals we have, retail, Macy's yesterday, we have Holy Cross is going to be there. We have a lot of big, and government aid, Montgomery County will be there looking for hires.
It's a great opportunity.
It is a great opportunity.
Well, but so how do you see the employment scene generally for seniors in Montgomery County?
Well, Montgomery County is a wonderful area to live and to work. But for not only in Montgomery County, but just nationally, what we see is that a younger person looking for a job, it could take 6 to 9 months, which is a long time.
Yeah.
But the stats show us that for a senior, it could be 18 to 24 months. That is an eternity. So many seniors, what they do is they start by volunteering. Just like with a student taking an internship, so now they're getting familiar with a company or a government agency or a nonprofit.
And sometimes those actually turn into jobs.
Many times it turns into jobs because now they know the individual, they know their talents, they know all of their skills, and so if an opening is there, someone can walk right in.
What do you think are some of the chief obstacles for older adults getting a job? I mean, one is, I suppose, age. There's still ageism.
Well, unfortunately, there is ageism, and I think fear is a very big thing that plays a big part, because now a senior looking for a job could eventually be interviewing with someone the age of their child or grandchild. And transportation. A lot of people, maybe they're not driving, or if they are, they're not that familiar, so they may live in one part of the county and now they have to go someplace else.
That's a good point.
And so that can be an obstacle many times. And a lot of people retired thought they had enough disposable income to live,
and
now the economy, it's coming back, but it's slow.
Right.
And a lot of people are not just looking for full-time.
They're looking for part-time.
Part-time, even seasonal, just so that they can, have that additional income. And that's what we're trying to offer with the Expo.
If you're a corporation listening to this, what are some of the benefits for hiring an older person?
You have a wonderful, wonderful set of individuals who have tremendous skills, tremendous experience, and are really great mentors for the rest of your organization. People aren't aware of the talent base that we have right here in the county, and they should take advantage of it. So I would encourage companies to participate and connect. All the information is right there on the screen where they can still sign up.
Right. So do you have a phone number or a website that's...
Yes, and the phone number is 301, would be my number, 255-4231. You could go to our website, which is accessjca.org, and the Beacon newspaper is going to have a 4-page spread in the April edition that will list the employers, the seminars, the times. It'll give all the information down to a map of the site.
Great. You also have another program which is related to employment called the Career Gateway.
Yes. Well, we want seniors to know that everything isn't just May 12th.
Right.
So there's other opportunities not only in the county but through JCA. One of the programs is Career Gateway. It is a class, very reasonable, and we give people the how to do their resumes, how to prepare for an interview, even model interview questions. They're assigned a mentor, which they have for a long period of time. And there are job clubs, and people are taught how to search for jobs.
Well, that sounds very exciting. Were there, 4 sessions?
Between 4 and 6 sessions, and we're taking names now for the next sessions that will start in a few months. And there's also a program, the Senior Community Service Employment Program, for low-income seniors, where we place them in a government or nonprofit, and they can work for 20 hours a week.
Lots going on at JCA.
Yes.
Not besides employment, you have a whole. We haven't talked about, but we sometimes have other people who talk about all your other activities.
Yes,
but thanks
we
so
do.
much for coming.
Oh,
Nikki.
my pleasure.
Good luck on the expo.
And I hope to see you there.
I'll be there.
Not looking for a job.
No. When we return, we'll conclude today's show with a chance to meet 2 award-winning volunteers here in Montgomery County. So please stay with us. We'll be right back.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers to help us better care for ourselves and the ones we love.
Be active, Montgomery. Be active. Be active, Montgomery. Be active, Montgomery. Be active, Montgomery.
Are you sure they can recycle us, Clamshell?
Hey, Dome, we're on a new recycling postcard.
I can't wait to make a new start. Maybe I'll be a red carpet at a big premiere.
And I'll get to paint the White House.
Shh, here he comes.
Now you can recycle more plastics in Montgomery County, including #1 PET plastics such as clamshells, deli containers, trays, lids, domes, and cups.
We're in!
For more information on recycling, contact the Montgomery County, Maryland Division of Solid Waste Services at 311. The wait is over. Recycle more plastics today.
Welcome back to Seniors Today. Many of us have volunteered in our communities, but today we have the story of 2 remarkably generous volunteers, Frank Iradi and Margaret Schweitzer. Well, welcome to Seniors Today. You were recently inducted into the Maryland Senior Citizens Hall of Fame, I can see why as I read the list of, you've been involved in so many activities. Did you have a favorite one?
Oh, many favorites at different times.
Tell us about one of your...
Well, I volunteered with the Mental Health Association for a long time on the board, also doing some landscaping there. And
for the Mental
mulch.
Health
Oh, yes, yes, I got a pile of mulch delivered there. And I work with Widowed Persons Service in the county, which is an adjunct program for the Mental Health Association. I did Meals on Wheels in Tacoma Park.
Meals on Wheels is, you've delivered a few meals.
Yes, I was the driver.
The driver?
The driver. And
according to my research, you've been doing this since 1972?
That's right, that's right. Well, I did it in the summers and when I was off school because I was a teacher. And so I had a friend who was in charge of finding volunteers and she recruited me.
And according to some notes I have, you delivered how many? 12,000?
That's what they estimate. Who knows how many?
Wow. And Frank, you had a career with IBM, and you were also honored with the Montgomery Service Award. How did you get started in this volunteering world?
Well, actually, I enjoy the out of doors. So when I was working, I was a volunteer for the PATC on their trail maintenance in Shannon National Park. Then when I retired, I pursued some of my other interests, one being woodworking. So when I went to the Montgomery County Volunteer Center, they pointed me to a charity called Wood to Wonderful, which was making wooden toys in Rockville. So I volunteered there. Then when they moved up to Reading, Pennsylvania, I had so much fun, I decided to continue that work, and I asked a foundation that was funding them if they would fund me. And they said, "Are you 501c3?"
Okay, the magic number.
Right, I didn't know what that was at the time, but I've learned.
Right. And you are, you're what's it's called, the Woodworkers for Children charity.
That's correct, yes.
And what does the Woodworkers for Children charity do?
We have two programs. One, as I mentioned, was making these wooden toys that we give to organizations serving low-income children.
Oh, these are neat. Yeah, I got something like this for my grandchild. These are fun.
Well, learning specialists like wooden toys because children have to use their imagination. There's no buttons, batteries, computer chips. It all has to be up there. And also it improves their dexterity playing with those toys and their social skills as they play with other kids.
So you make you and some others make these toys?
Yeah, about half a dozen other volunteers work with me.
How many toys do you make a year?
We make about 1,200 a year.
1,200?
Yeah, I think we've donated something over 23,000 to different organizations over the years. We started in 1998 doing this.
So how do you distribute? Who gets the toys?
Well, it's Head Start programs, for example, in Montgomery County, or child development centers in the district and PG County. We've donated also. So we've had about 100 different organizations that we've given toys to.
Wow, well, these are great.
They're fun to make too.
But you also have some books there.
Now that's our second program. It's called Reading Is. It started out Reading Is Toy-rific because the kids got a toy with the book, and that was How Do Dinosaurs Clean the Room was the name of the book. So they got a little dinosaur with it. But now we're serving 8 elementary schools in Montgomery County, Title I schools. We go to their first grade classes, and our volunteers read a book. And then each student gets a copy of the book. So this year we're doing bedtime favorites of Disney, and Winnie the Pooh's another one that we're doing.
Great.
So we have about 800 students in the book, and each one gets 9 books. So
that's fantastic.
And they take the books home, and that's to encourage them to read at home. Low-income families don't have money for these books. I mean, they're $16 a pop. So. Who can afford that when you're trying to put food on the table?
Right. Well, what makes you do why do you do these things? What makes it rewarding to you?
For a couple of things. One is you're giving back to the community, and the second is the wonderful people that you meet. So those are two, and I think those are just kind of
universal
desires.
And you've done so many things. How do you manage to
Oh,
do
I
that?
fill it in the cracks.
Fill it in the cracks.
Yeah, you can find time for whatever you need to do. And
how do you decide what you want to do?
well, depends on the day. I have to look at my calendar and see what I'm supposed to be doing that day. And
But I mean, you
then
know,
there are emergencies every so often that you have.
No, but how did you select, for example, the Mental Health Association or widowed persons? Or,
Well, I was Mental Health Association. When I was in college, I was at the University of Michigan at a fresh air camp. All kids referred by social agencies. And you sort of get a commitment. And oftentimes our teenage volunteers get involved because of something they did at that point. And when you want to, a kid picks up a piece of meat on the end of a fork and says, "What meal is this? Are we going to eat again?"
Oh, wow.
It changes your perspective.
Sure.
And I remember going back to campus and being irritated with little frivolities on campus, and I liked to do things that were more important. So I got involved with the Mental Health Association, and I was with AAUW, and I had a lot of friends who got me involved. Like I was on the United Way for a while, the National Capital Area in Montgomery County, and that leads into something else. And then I became a widow, and I got involved with the widowed persons because this person says, "Oh, come on, we need somebody to do this." And
so, I mean, I have people who come up to me sometimes and say, "Well, you know, I've worked and I'm looking for something to do. Have you any suggestions?" How do you decide?
I would say go to the Montgomery County Volunteer Center. There's an awful lot of agencies registered there with the volunteer opportunities, and they can kind of focus in on your interests and then pair you up with a charity that way.
But obviously, this has been extremely rewarding to both of you to do these things. Or you
It's
wouldn't
my
do it.
life.
It's your life. You started as a teacher.
Yes.
And in a way, you're still teaching, aren't you?
yeah, it's a different group. Different group. We're working with people that are mostly older.
Right.
And but they, you know, nobody's a throwaway person.
Right, right.
We want everybody to matter. And you start doing some of these things. When I did Meals on Wheels, I saw people in very strange circumstances.
Right.
And you do what you can.
And you were able to make a difference. Making a difference, I think, is part of it.
Yeah, it matters to the people, the people you help.
Well, congratulations to both of you for all that you do, and thank you on behalf of our county.
Thank you, Austin.
That's very nice of you. Thank you.
Don't forget that you can access a great deal of information about county services for seniors by going to the Montgomery County Senior website at www.montgomerycountymd.gov/seniors, or call the Senior Resource Line at 240-777-3000. Also, we have an email address that you can use to send us comments or suggestions for future topics on our show. It's seniorstoday@montgomerycountymd.gov. And as always, thank you for watching Seniors Today.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
In Montgomery County, nearly a third of pedestrian collisions occur in parking lots, and a significant number cause severe injuries. Avoid becoming a statistic. Pedestrians, don't get run over. Walk first, text later. Take out the earbuds. Don't assume drivers see you. Drivers, don't run over people. It's illegal to hold a phone or text while driving. Slow down. Don't assume pedestrians see you, especially when backing out. Heads up in parking lots, because safety is everyone's responsibility.
Serving your community is a great feeling. The Montgomery County Volunteer Center can connect you to hundreds of volunteer opportunities available throughout the area. Are you a student, senior, professional, community group, or business looking to serve? Simply visit our website to select what's right for you and get great ideas from past projects with our volunteer toolkits, or share a success story of your own. The Montgomery County Volunteer Center. Make an impact in your community. Where will you serve?